And after going through the various remedies and various provisions available under civil law, criminal law and constitution, let us look to special enactments which are made to deal with various kinds of environmental pollution. Out of these special enactments, I am going to refer to the most important 3 enactments which are the most important and useful for public. The first enactment is Water Enactment, second is Air Act and the third is EP Act of 1986. Each enactment deals with specific kinds of pollution. Water Act mainly deals with water prevention and control of pollution, which was made in the year 1974. The next enactment is Air Act. This act also mainly deals with prevention and control of air pollution, which was introduced in the year 1981. The most important and comprehensive enactment is EP Act of 1986. This act deals with all kinds of pollution. Pollution may be air pollution, water pollution, noise pollution, industrial pollution, hazardous waste, all these things comes under EP Act 1986. Water Act and Air Act only deals with water pollution as well as air pollution, but EP Act is a comprehensive enactment, deals with all kinds of pollution. Under this enactment, various rules, regulations and notifications are issued by the government to prevent and control certain kinds of pollution. For example, Coastal Regulation Zone Notification 1991 amended in the year 2011. And even we are having noise pollution regulation rules which are made under the EP Act of 1986. These enactments established separate authorities to prevent and control various kinds of pollution. The authorities are mainly Central Pollution Control Board and State Pollution Control Board at the state level. And there is one more board known as Joint Pollution Control Board, when one state and 2 states or one state and union territory join together and they want to start one single pollution control board, they can go for Joint Pollution Control Board. Authorities for these boards are mainly appointed by the state government at the state level and central board at the central level. These authorities are vested with various functions and powers. Authorities also got powers to control any kind of pollution by issuing orders. The orders are maybe in civil nature or criminal in nature. If you want to hire from this pollution control board, a person can approach civil court or criminal court in order to avail appropriate remedy, which may be in civil nature or criminal nature. From this civil or criminal court, the person can prefer appeal to National Green Tribunal. From this National Green Tribunal, appeal can be preferred to Supreme Court. Pollution Control Board are having power to approach any court, it may be civil court or criminal court, as per the remedy they require in case of environmental matters. And one of the most important authority established is National Green Tribunal under the Environmental Protection Act of 1986. This tribunal was set up for effective and expeditious disposal of cases relating to environmental matters. This is a specialized tribunal, deals with environmental matters. This authority consists of experts dealing with environmental matters or environmental concern. Appeal from any order, decision made under Water Act, Air Act or EP Act can be referred to National Green Tribunal. Appeals against the order of NGT can be referred to Supreme Court. Appeal should be made within 90 days from the date of communication of the order. So from NGT, a person want to prefer appeal, appeal has to be preferred before the court within 90 days. Access to speedy justice in environmental matters can be put before the tribunal. So what are the problems, what lacking in with respect to these enactments? Each and every enactment consists of loopholes that help industry as well as industrialists. So what are the enactments which you have seen? Water Act, Air Act and EP Act, they can stop number of loopholes. As a consequence, they are trying to benefit industry as well as industrialists. Many people commented EP Act as a paper decker, and even people inform that EP Act is like a poisonous snake without any venom. Authorities established under this act, they are not functioning properly in order to prevent and control environmental pollution. They need on our part to create awareness about pollution and its effects on public. Once public are aware about the effects of environment, they can try to prevent and they can try to approach appropriate court to avail appropriate remedy. Government should provide consent and permission without any bias or discrimination. Whenever government provides consent with bias, in such case, victim or aggrieved party can approach the court under Article 14 or by a public intervention against their state action. We have to keep in mind environment being one of the most important concern for us. We have to always protect our environment, our surroundings as well as nature. Appointment of authorities by the centre or state government is one of the drawback, and the Act does not prescribe any qualifications except to the secretary under this Act. And the next drawback with respect to Water Act and Air Act is collection of sample. Sample has to be collected in the presence of the owner or agent of the premises. They cannot collect the sample without these persons. They have to collect the sample and they have to place the sample in separate containers, and it has to be sealed and signed by the person the officer in charge or person who entered the premises to collect sample, as well as agent or his owner of the premises. If the owner of the premises or agent is absent, the sample has to be collected and has to be kept and sealed in a container, and the officer has to give a written statement the absence of owner or agent at the time of collection of the sample. Then sample has to be sent to appropriate laboratory for testing, and the authority cannot send the sample to any other authority except the authority established under Water Act or Air Act. As a consequence, in majority of the cases, when the sample is sent to the laboratory established by state government does not have latest technology. As a consequence, they are not aware about what kind of pollution it is causing, and as a consequence, majority of the times it may help industry or industrialists. The other important lacuna under the Act is the authorities are having power to enter the premises in order to find out any kind of pollution. They can enter premises during working hours. Again, they say that working hours, sometimes it may be morning or evening, and authorities also should be available in order to enter the premises to find out any kind of pollution or any kind of environmental damage in that industry. Every person or any person who want to lodge a complaint with respect to any kind of environmental pollution, the person has to give a prior notice of 60 days to the authority, informing his intention to approach and to fight for environmental pollution. If the person fails to give notice of 60 days, the complaint is not maintainable before any court. The other important lacuna with respect to these enactments is authorities are not functioning properly to prevent, control and to conserve environmental pollution. Majority of the time, when the authorities are appointed by the government, maybe say state or center, they try to favor the action taken by state government or central government. Need to create awareness about environmental pollution and its effects and its causes. Many times, or majority of the people in India, they are not aware about pollution and pollution effects. So they need to create awareness with respect to environmental pollution and effects of pollution. As a consequence, public may come forward and they may try to create awareness and they may try to prevent any kind of environmental pollution or damage in our society. Government should provide consent or permission without bias or without any discrimination. Whenever government provides any consent or permission to any industry plan or proposal, the aggrieved person or any person from the society can approach the court under Article 14 and they can challenge action of the government as violative of Article 14 because the state has taken action which is arbitrary and against the interest of the public. So after going through the presentation, till now we have gone through about the objectives with which this module is incorporated. We have seen about protection of environment during ancient times. So environment protection is not a new concept to us. From time to time we are trying to protect our nature as well as natural environment, and during ancient time it was known as Paryavaran, and even people started worshipping trees and forests was treated as Vriksha Devata as well as Vana Devata, and we protected environment. As a consequence, we are not there to destroy our nature, and till now even today also people are worshipping our plants. For example, Tulasi tree is worshipped by Hindus in every house every day. So this shows our concern for environment as well as environmental concern. So after going through ancient period, we discovered the role of the state in protection of environment, and being a state being one of the most important authority to deal with environment, and duties imposed on the state not to cause damage to environmental issues. And besides that, even the court informed the state that they incorporate a new doctrine, that is public trust doctrine, and state being a trustee, state has no right to destroy the natural resources. In order to control the action of the state, we can you can avail any of the remedies like self-help. We have to protect ourselves, and we have seen about remedies available before civil court, that is under law of torts. We can avail remedy even before the criminal court, mainly under IPC as well as CRPC, and we have seen the most important remedies available under Indian Constitution like fundamental rights, part 3 of the Constitution, and part 4 of the Constitution, which impose the state to do lot of duties, that is directive principles of state policy. Duties are imposed on the public, that is the citizens, to deal with environmental matters, and even Constitution deals with remedies in case of violation of fundamental rights. After going through the Constitution and environmental matters, we have gone through various fundamental rights which deals with environmental matters. There we discuss about Article 14, which controls the state action which is arbitrary, Article 19, Article 21. These are two other important rights which are available under Part 3 of the Constitution. And after this we discuss about the new doctrines evolved by the judiciary to deal with environmental matters, that is public trust doctrine, precautionary principles, polluter pay, the concept of sustainable development, and we discuss about intergenerational equity principles. All these principles are evolved by the judiciary because of international fame and recognition. After going through new doctrines, we discuss about various special enactments which are enacted by the government from time to time to deal with various kinds of environmental pollution after 1972. So those enactments are Water Act, Air Act, and EP Act. Besides this enactment, various enactments are made by the Indian Parliament to deal or to protect forests, that is Indian Forest Act of 1927 as well as Forest Conservation Act of 1980. In order to protect animals, wearing a separate enactment, that is the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. All these enactments are made in order to deal with various kinds of environmental pollution. And lastly, I discuss about role played by a separate tribunal established by the central government to deal with environment matter, which is the main object of this National Green Tribunal is to speed up the procedure and to give a remedy in case of environmental matters. And at the end, I discuss about loopholes available under various enactments which are dealing with environmental enactments. Thank you.